Boom bam, we back y'all with another one. It's your boy Alex and
Lane.
Josh.
And Josh.
Okay, back again with another one. Today we're here to talk about Spiderman Brand New Day. Okay.
The moneymaker of 2026 thus far. Crazy.
Yeah, Moolah. Tell the people how much they made again.
It made $2 billion. That by the time we're recording this, it made it actually yesterday. But we're recording and it's already at $2 billion. We didn't even see it before it hit it. We'd already hit $1 billion before we went. Well, that's the T. I saw it twice. If you watched our previous video, I've seen it twice. He saw it once. But we'll go all into that. But yeah, $2 billion. Sony did their thing. Okay, they did not expect Spider-Man Brand New Day to make $2 billion. And we know Disney didn't either. Disney said, damn. They said, but yeah. That's the thing with like Sony's like that. Spider-Man is their biggest IP and will forever be their biggest IP. You cannot let that go because it's a moneymaker. Like Spider-Man makes money, it sells, okay, and that's all you can say about that, really. Yeah. But we need to get into this film. So in this video, before we get into it, it is sponsored by Josh and Josh. I know you guys hear the music in the background. Go follow our Instagram, Josh and Josh Music, and then like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to check out our full music discography, you can check that out at joshandjosh.bandcamp.com. Tell them, Papa. Thank you. But yeah, and if you go follow our Instagram, the link is in our Instagram bio, so it's really click on it, check out our music, let me know what you think. But yeah. So this video, we're kind of just going to talk about basically the whole film and the big plot points of the film. And just before we really get into it, I'm just excited that another Spider-Man film actually came out. You know, I'm such a Spider-Man fan. I'd be watching the animated series all the time. I'd be watching the Spider-Verse stuff all the time. And I was just, 10-year-old me was living in the theater watching this film. So really cool moment that a new Spider-Man film in 2026. But yes, so do you want to start us off? You want me to kind of like get things rolling with the first thing of like start of the film?
I'll just start off and then you go ahead and finish. So it starts, Release's first major plot point is the 4-year isolation, because it starts off alone with following No Way Home, where it jumps forward 4 years, showing Peter fully dedicated to vigilantism while coping with extreme loneliness and no advanced tech. So he was in a room, basically by himself, all dusty closet, no friends. And not to say too much, but remember, he told MJ and Ned, I'm going to come find you. And the movie ends up with him having the opportunity of going to the diner to say, hey, but instead of telling them, hey, I'm your friend from way back when and we were supposed to blah, 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 he didn't do none of that. He didn't say none of that. So he just went and by himself for the next 4 years. So MJ and Ned advanced in college. MIT, they're both brilliant. MJ ends up getting a boyfriend. Everything happens while Peter was away. While Peter is still there. But he just doesn't want to tell them the truth because it really hurts him more than it hurts them. And he can't really get that past himself. That's not fair for you to really withhold the truth because it hurts you.
Yeah, I feel you. And the whole idea behind Spider-Man is the power with the responsibility that you have, but also what comes with that is protecting the people you love. And as we saw at the end of No Way Home, Aunt May unfortunately died in the Andrew Green Goblin. So Peter has that in him. He's like, I don't want anybody else close to me to die because of me, you know, because it is because of him.
I see.
You know, he fucked up the Doctor Strange spell and caused all those, you know, different multiverse enemies to come here who ended up killing Aunt May, you know, and you hate to say it, but it's his fault, you know. So that's also a huge thing that he's been dealing with is he doesn't want to get close to them because he doesn't want them to be in jeopardy or in danger because Aunt May's gone and he has nobody. But yeah, like he said, 4-year time jump. While he's doing the 4-year time jump, he keeps like, he follows Ned on TikTok and he like keeps seeing like how they're doing alive. And it's just really sad because it's what he did, you know, it's the decision he made, but it's the right decision because you don't want them, you know, to be in harm's way because of the people who are after you simply because you're Spider-Man. Like, and 4 years, it really does a toll and takes a toll on him, because doing everything by yourself sucks, and being alone. Like, the whole theme of this film is you don't have to do everything alone. It's okay to have friends, you know.
Yeah.
But like, the two next major plot points kind of go together. It says Ned and MJ's return. Throughout that 4 years, we keep seeing him check back with them, and it basically just them return. Peter crosses paths with them again throughout, living lives, and he ends up seeing Ned in the bodega, and that's where he ends up going to the party, sees MJ with a new boyfriend, and that basically shifts us into a big chunk of the film. But before that, we need to talk about the letter he wrote MJ at the end of No Way Home. That's how this film opens up, is him reading that letter, or kind of finding it again. Like he said, he's in this dark, dusty room, he's working on his suit, and he picks up the cup and reads the letter, and very sad letter, basically just saying why he didn't tell you, but he does love you, MJ. He doesn't want to forget you because he loves life with you. But whole thing, but we'll get into that later. But the big plot of the first act of the film is the mutation Peter is currently going through.
Yes.
And basically what's going on is, I'll read it and then I'll explain it, but it says Peter begins experiencing severe physical changes in body or elements, with growing extra-organic capabilities like webbing and producing a liquid naturally from his body, which is kind of gross. But remember, he saw Toby do this in No Way Home, so he can't be completely freaked out. But the fact that his body is going through these changes is concerning, and we don't know why at the beginning of the film, but he's going through it because battling life on like by yourself and alone caused him to like suppress the feelings that he needed to have with friends. And they'll go into it a little bit later, but him basically having friends and helped him not mutate as bad. But like I said, we'll get more into that. But that was a big thing about the first half of the film, is like, what's happening to him? Why is he mutating? Like, is he gonna be the Man Spider? What's gonna happen? He didn't do Man Spider, but a lot of people thought he was gonna be Man Spider, but they didn't go that route. But it's just, that sets up a huge next, basically the rest of the film is him dealing with this mutation, because he doesn't like it. He's like, what's going on? I'm not used to this. I don't know how to, deal with this. Like, the webbing's super strong and super sticky, and he ends up like getting completely black eyes, and like it's super straight, and it's kind of wild to think about. But
also, what kind of triggered him to get this is, we don't know this at the time, but Jean Grey, we don't know who's causing this, but she's able to hop into people and then cause them to do things. And so it sends Spider-Man across this city chase, trying to catch the bad thing. And then we didn't know this was Jean Grey at the time, but she tried to hop into Spider-Man. But really, we don't know why she couldn't really hop into Spider-Man, but because Spider-Man is Spider-Man, she couldn't really get into him. And she hopped out, and she was like, dang, you're too strong. So she hops it from person to person. She even hopped into a old lady, had her get into a tank and drive the tank.
Yeah.
Because she's really trying to get into the damage control center. Because that's all she knows, is that's her target and where she needs to go.
Damage control. But yes, like he said, the next big plot point is introducing Jean Grey into this film. Like we said, for the first act and kind of second act of the film, we don't know who she is. We just know she's a villain that's telepathically, messing with people and getting in their minds. But what it says is, Sadie Sink, who plays Jean Grey from Stranger Things, it says, she debuts in the MCU as an isolated, hunted telepathic mutant, targeted by the Department of Damage Control, headed by this head honcho guy that you meet in the beginning of the Spider-Man film. But those kind of coincide together because, like he said, she is after something that is in damage control called VMAX. She keeps referencing, where's VMAX? I need to know what's VMAX. And people are like, what is VMAX? We don't know what that is. And
but also got to remember the Bruce Banner part.
Oh.
But once we finish talking about Jean Grey.
Oh, yeah. I lost my train of thought.
The VMAX, and then you're going to say it's really the villain?
No, I wasn't going to say that yet.
Oh.
But I was just saying that's why she was that's why she was driving that tank to damage control, because she's trying to figure out what VMAX is. But yes, like he said, so Spider-Man goes through these mutations and doesn't know what to do, but he does know somebody who goes through a mutation and can physically suppress it, and we come to find out that that's Dr. Bruce Banner, aka the Incredible Hulk, Avenger, cool, super awesome. So he's seeking a cure or control mechanicism, I guess that's what you can say, for his out of control physical changes. Peter tracks down a professor status Bruce Banner who uses an inhibitor device from the Hulk's powers. It's like a watch type thing. Like he wears it and it basically just suppresses the green monster.
from him.
From getting angry and going Hulk. But this is very, 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 very interesting because in this conversation, Bruce kind of figures out that Peter's not a student, but he doesn't want to truly say it because Peter's like wicked smart and is asking all these very specific questions about mutating and suppressing some mutation DNA strands, but not all of them. And that leads into a conversation of developing a device that can basically do that. And this, like I said, this is still kind of in the middle of the film, but Bruce Banner warns him. He's like, this is some dangerous territory because if you make something that can suppress your mutant abilities, you can make it universal and you can suppress anyone with powers. And that's something very dangerous because what they're referencing at is, in the X-Men universe, they have the collars that they put on the X-Men that stops all of their powers. And that's kind of crazy that Bruce Banner and Tom Holland are the founders of this technology by the end of the film. But he's literally having that conversation with him saying, this is very dangerous. Like, I know you're probably just, super smart and want to think of cool stuff to make, but the idea behind that, it can have serious consequences that you're not even ready for. And that's really big,
Yeah. And then something else he said before he said that, he was like, when you suppress the things, how do you know what's actually good and what's bad? Like, how do you know what's needed and what's not? Like, because in real life, sometimes anger, you'd be like, oh, that's such an ugly emotion. But sometimes you need to be mad to realize that you need to actually maybe not go through that situation again. Maybe avoid that situation. And if you didn't actually feel highly emotional, you probably would touch the stove. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, oh, no, don't touch the stove because it's hot. But anyways, but yes. So that part was really good because that's really important to the end.
Basically the whole film.
And it involves Jean Grey because they use the inhibitor on her when she get caught.
Yeah. So next it's kind of subplot, but a good side character in this film. First, we talk about the Punisher, because it's not really talked about in this breakdown, but huge character, really cool that they brought the Punisher into this film. And the next side character is Yelena Belova, who is the new Black Widow, who is on the Thunderbolts, who are aka the new Avengers, running by Valentina, whatever her name is. But she is in this film, kind of as team member, but she kind of there for help.
An advisor or something?
An advisor, like he's an Avenger, but she's kind of running the Avengers, and she's like, we need you when we need you, but we need you to handle this street level stuff. It's small potato stuff. We handle big potato stuff.
That was really funny.
That was funny. But it's cool seeing her because she is a new Avenger. She's also going to be in Doomsday, and it's just really cool. But I liked her character there. She's kind of just there, like he said, as an advisor for the Avengers. They're like, we see you, Spidey. We need you to figure this out. But they literally don't know that this small potato stuff is actually big potato stuff because Jean Grey is an Omega level mutant, meaning she is the real deal. Okay, but they didn't know who she was yet. But it's crazy. We end up finding out. Yelena helps Peter find out that her name is Jean Grey, and that kind of segues into Jean's whole motive. So Jean's motive in this film, we come to find out at the beginning of the third act, right before she gets captured, is that they show us a flashback. Jean has an older sister. And Jean's older sister is also a telepathic, mutant. She's teaching her sister how to jump bodies and, how to basically use your mutant powers. They're at the park having a good time, but we come to discover that their parents kind of neglected them because they are mutants, and both Jean and her sister kind of don't hate their mom, but are confused as to why they weren't loved by their parents, because they would love their children no matter what was wrong with them. And basically the idea of that, but their ride or dies together in the park chilling, and she's like, I'm gonna go get some ice cream. Big sister goes to get some ice cream and gets ambushed by Damage Control, and they basically kidnap her. Because we come to realize Damage Control is basically the mutant hunters of the MCU. They're about to be taking down anybody and everybody that they can throughout these movies because they are afraid of what mutants can do. And it's crazy because mutants are only 1%, maybe 2% of the population, but they are cracking down on all of them. As you see in Brand New Day, they take out... Oh, that's also sad thing is that they do capture Jean's sister, but Jean's sister uses her telepathic powers to keep Jean there. She's like, I gotta protect you.
Yeah.
And it's really
and
sad.
She forces
her sister to go away. And, oh, it's just really sad. But now that's Jean's motive. So Jean says her sister sent her a telekinesis sign for VMAX.
When she died.
VMAX, yeah. But she doesn't know that she died. She just knows.
Yeah, she don't know.
She sent me a pulse. VMAX is the solution. That's where she is. Come to find out, when Jean gets captured by damage control, she's in this room. And she is basically tethered to a chair. And what they're trying to do is replicate her power. They're going to shock her and make her brain use her powers so they can try to replicate it in some machinery. Evil stuff. Very evil. Very messed up. But she ends up getting shocked. Looks up, and there's this vent above her that says Vent Max, but the E and T and vent is like really, really faded, so it just looks like V Max. And we come to the solution that was the last thing her sister saw before damage control basically killed her from shocking her too much to try to replicate her powers. And what's the crazy thing is that the Mesker, the head guy of the damage control, he knew that. He knew they killed their sister, but didn't tell her that. And it was just really sad, because then you kind of sympathize with her. You're like, man, that's messed up. You killed my sister, and you kind of understand why Jean's doing this. But then again, you don't have to hurt people, Jean. Like, why are you doing this? But I totally get it, and it's just a very tough scenario, but very well done for the film. I thought it was a great subplot and great motive, so she was a great villain for basically a good majority of the film. But
yes, okay, and these next two things go hand in hand. So basically, after he talked to Bruce Banner, because Peter wanted to control his real spider senses, and because he just wants to be regular, he came up with an inhibitor, and it didn't work at first. But then, under the assistance of MJ, she and the help from but basically he ends up making it. He makes it work. So his initial thing works on him to get his bad spider things away, but the damage control, I don't know how they get this technology, but they do. And so by the time you see Jean Grey and damage control all hooked up to the thing, they have the same inhibitor, but it's even more techs out, where it's on a line of
whole bunch of wires
and they like made it even more stronger than what it was, and it made her powers not usable unless they were using her. And so what happens was she ends up when they try to do the whole science thing, the same thing they did on her sister that killed her sister, it actually just made her powers more stronger than ever. So then she ended up blowing the thing up, and then Spider-Man, so we didn't say this in the entire film, but this entire film, Spider-Man, when he was in his 4 years of isolation, he fought a lot of enemies, because that's all he had to do. And one of these enemies who he put up came back to fight him, and it was, what was the name of the Asian people?
They're called the Hand. They're a bunch of ninjas,
They was whooping his ass. So they did a great job. So they basically was preventing him from going in there to stop everything that she was doing. But by the time he gets in there, because he realized, he said, the Hand shouldn't even be here. Why are they working for the detective crew when I put them in jail? That makes no sense. So he was starting to realize that, hey, the head dude of the detective control, he said that he had his memory hijacked by Jean Grey, but if you did, you don't remember anything. And that was a trailing that throughout the movie. And by the time he asked him a question, he actually remembered something. He was like, oh no, I realized he lied to me. So basically, the last thing is, he gets her, she stops it, she gets up, she like destroys the thing. But the secret is, like he was saying, this is the start of the damage control having these tools that stop the X-Men. And it starts because of what
Peter did.
Peter did. Bruce inspired.
Warned him.
But it's now in the hands of the wrong people, and they're going to make him more powerful than he ever intended. And it will be used against other people who Spider-Man doesn't even know. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was such an important piece of the story, because this inhibitor chip, like he said, was suppressing the arachnid, genes in his system, which caused him to have super strength, that he had the natural webbing. And it was, like he said, by that point in the third act of the film, when Jean finally gets like her power overload, she takes over basically everybody, like in their mind.
At the same time,
she's controlling the Hand, she's controlling everybody, and like like you said, the hand is whooping Spider-Man's butt, and it isn't until he takes off that chip that he's like, okay, I can beat you guys. And he gets like, and then, but it's just the fact that the film is like trying to tell you that you don't need to suppress what makes you you. You need to accept it because that's what makes you special. And it was just really cool the way that they did that, because right before she's still bad but becomes good, she goes into Peter's mind. And that was a big thing in the film, is that she couldn't tap into his mind. But then he finally lets her into his mind, and that's where he ends up befriending her. He's like, you have me. And they have the whole scene with Aunt May, which was really nice. And it's
where she like replaced Peter, and basically she understood that it is hard and you just have to do the hard thing, and because I guess being the bad guy is actually easy when you have that level of power. So so basically, remember I said she blows everything up, and when she does, I'm so glad they did it like this. You just see Peter see her, and he was like, look, everything's okay. And then he literally goes into her hand, and then she looks at her hand, and it's blood, and he's on the floor. And then you just see blood spew out.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so why that was so good is because in modern day movies, they love to show everything literally because they can. And you have to leave things back to the imagination. We could argue about how exactly what happened to him will cause him bleed, and that's good. That means people rewatch to argue. But basically it was a guess on how that all happened, and then next you know he's in the hospital, and then you see Jean Grey just start breathing. And then months later, Peter finally wakes up.
And he doesn't wake up until she stops.
And she stops breathing. So like, so he told me this because I didn't really notice, but she literally breathed for him the entire time he was in that coma. Like, Peter might have could have died if it wasn't for, allegedly. It's really up to your interpretation, which is good.
Well, he was gonna die because he was shot by Frank.
Because Frank, thank you. Frank's the one who shot him.
He was trying to shoot Jean, but Spider-Man, Spider Sense, literally, that's what was crazy, that he had Spider Sense while she was in his mind, and that's how he saved her. He's like, and shoots him. But like you said, it was up for the imagination, because he looks, he's like, I'm fine. And then she like, and he's just like, oh no, Spider-Man! And like you said, that he's in a coma for like a minute, but then as soon as Jean, that's also a crazy thing, because the whole thing with Jean's power is that she can only manipulate somebody 30 feet in front of her, or like 300 feet in front of her. But when she got like pulsated with the damage control, it like amped her powers up, so she was like way somewhere else, but she was still controlling Peter in that hospital chair, like, and breathing for him and basically keeping him alive until she knew he was good. And as soon as she stopped breathing, he wakes up and there's Frank right there, and he's like, what happened? Where's my mask? And he's like, no, you're good, bro. Like, and
what he's saying further flexes her power. She doesn't even have to be, like, the point of the movie was saying that she had to be at least 20, 30 feet for somebody to be able to control them.
And then she was on a bus.
She was somewhere who we don't even know where she was, just keeping him alive as she was just living her life. So that's how powerful she is now with that slight flex they tried to show us.
Very cool.
But then he gets out, and it's really funny. Frank puts on the mask, and he was like, because nobody knows who Peter's face is. Yeah. So he was like, Frank's up there pretending to be Spider-Man, like he's okay. And then Peter got to see that people actually really like Spider-Man. People need Spider-Man. And that was his first time actually seeing that. Hey, you're not just a random guy. Like, the whole city, they need you, and they're inspired by you. Like, they all love you. Kids, adults, all the races of people, they all love Spider-Man. Like, this movie literally included every race of people. They didn't exclude.
And everybody, like, it was just really powerful moment. Just to see and feel accepted by complete strangers because you put your life on the line for them every day. To protect them. Like, and that's why he does it. That's why he's Spider-Man. Like, the power, with great power comes great responsibility. You might not have the exact control over the responsibility, but you're going to deal with it. And that kind of ends the film, but the film definitely ends on a highlight because he goes back to his everyday life. He's going to end up being Spider-Man again, but has a different viewpoint about how he doesn't need to do things alone. And he ends up going to the same little bodega in New York, runs into Ned again, and instead of avoiding Ned, and protecting him, he walks straight up to him. He says, hey, and Ned obviously recognizes him. He's like, oh, you're the dude with the flowers from the party, right? And you're like, Maynard, right? He's like, I'm Peter. And then he's like, oh, hey, Peter. And then They go to shake hands, but then they do their handshake. And it's crazy because Ned's not supposed to know that. You know, he doesn't know who Peter is, but the muscle memory, like he really doesn't know how he knows it, but he's kind of weirded out. And then they finish it, and then he says, Peter. And then Tom Holland smiles, and it goes black.
I know, I loved it. I literally loved it. I thought it was so good.
So it's up for interpretation. Does he remember Peter, or does he remember Peter as Spider-Man? Because in the end of the third act of the film, MJ ends up making Spider-Man take off the mask. We didn't talk about that. She ends up reading the note that he wrote for her at the end of the last film, and even though she wants to believe him, she doesn't know who he is.
Like, she doesn't have those memories.
She's like, I see your face and I don't feel anything. I don't love you. But then it contradicts it because him and Ned doing the handshake. How does Ned remember the handshake? It's like muscle memory for him. You know, they know what they do.
Yeah. So it's really up to interpretation on how they take the next movie.
Oh.
But then, you want to tell them what?
So the post-credit scene is throughout the film. So Ned and MJ went to MIT. If you don't know anything about MIT, it's a technology school for really smart and really smart people. So Ned ends up creating this app throughout the film called Spidey Tracker. Basically just tracks where Spider-Man is, the people he saves. Just a cool GPS app. And at the end of the film, it's that same app, but then it like glitches and it shows Spider-Man in New York, but then it like zooms out from the Earth, and then we go into like space. And then it glitches again, and then it says Spider-Man found, and it's just like a Spider-Man icon in the middle of space. So people are like, what? Could mean a number of things. I think the most realistic and logical reason is we all know Doomsday is coming out at the end of the year. People suspect Spider-Man will be in this film, but he has yet to be, I wouldn't say casted, but he hasn't been introduced to be in Doomsday yet, nor has he appeared in any trailers, right? But Spider-Man definitely has to make an appearance in Secret Wars, and if you watch or know anything about comics, in Secret Wars, Doom creates what's called Battle World, and it's basically dimensions from a whole bunch of different realities into one world, and that's what a lot of people think is happening. They're thinking that Manhattan or Queens, wherever Spider-Man was, with Doomsday happening at the end of this year, however that ends, a lot of people think he is being transported to Battle World to be a part of that Manhattan, New York. He's not going to know what's going on, but it makes sense as to why we see a random Spider-Man in space. Now, that could be something else. It could be a Miles Morales reference, because Miles is from a different universe. But you would think a new Spider-Man found, he'd be on land. Like, why would he be in space? You know, some random point in space. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think we will see Tom Holland probably at the end, if not the ending credit scene of Doomsday. It's going to be interesting. It will be really interesting to see, because he has yet to be confirmed to be in Doomsday, but he has to. It's part of the Marvel Sony deal. Is Spider-Man's got to be in Avengers films, and he made $2 billion, so they want Spider-Man in this film. Okay, have to. But that's pretty much how the film ends. Really cool film, really great Spider-Man. You know, low level, street level crime. Really cool. The New York felt alive. I loved the way the movie was shot, the scenes, the cinematography, and obviously we got to talk about the Spider-Man suit itself. Absolutely beautiful. Ripped straight from the comics or a cartoon. Like, I couldn't be happier. I said this in the last video, but 10-year-old me was just in awe of watching this film. I'm like, this is so cool, and I'm here for it. What'd you think overall of the film?
Overall, I liked it. Yeah, I don't know, was she the police chief was a Minigan?
Oh yeah.
And her kids. I thought it was really cool because it just, like I said this earlier, but there's so many different cultures in New York that all culminate together that makes like New York what it is, and they did a great job just showing that instead of just like generic Americans. No, because like New York's made up with more than just the American people. It's all the cultures that move to New York and have safe harbor there, because it's like a safe harbor city. So yeah, it was just very awesome. Great job. They made $2 billion. Probably by the end of the year, it might be $3 billion. Highest movie in a minute. Gen Z loves the Spider-Man. A lot of Gen Z has seen the movie 5 times already. It's
that good to go see it multiple times. Yeah. I saw it twice, and I would definitely see it again.
This movie has made people feel like they want to go to the movies again. So, and then with them doing these, I don't know if this movie definitely was in IMAX, right? Was it IMAX? No?
I mean, they showed IMAX showing, but it wasn't shot
Yeah.
for IMAX. But yeah.
If you're watching at IMAX, the new speakers they have at AMC, at some of the AMCs, kind of make it worth go seeing because it's really, really loud now. Like, and you know, you don't play your speakers that loud at home. So, I do think it's worth watching. You two Joshes up. You think?
I would give it 2 Joshes for sure. It's a 10 out of 10 movie. Probably my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man film that's been out. And it was crazy because we went and saw No Way Home together, and we kept talking before this film came out. How are you going to top 3 Spider-Man in one film? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to top that? But they did it. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And then they're setting up the X-Men for the MCU with Jean Grey, which is cool. You know, people have been waiting for that forever. And she did great. Phenomenal actor. Really excited.
Sony.
It was truly a brand new day for Sony, and good for them. I mean, I know they're about to make another lot of money Spider-Man next year with Spider-Verse, and you know we're gonna be seeing that too. Okay, it's gonna be so good. But yes, 2 Joshes, 2 thumbs up. Really, 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 really good.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
But I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. Do you have anything else?
That's it.
That's pretty much the end of the video, guys. I know you've been listening to the music in the back. This is your last chance to go like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then go follow our Instagram, Josh and Josh Music. And then if you want to check out some new music, want to check out some really cool music, check out our full discography at joshandjosh.bandcamp.com. Boom, it's right there. Or if you go to our Instagram in the link in the bio. But yeah, guys, go watch Spider-Man Brand New Day. Definitely need to, because it's worth the money, for sure.
For sure. Let's get it going, y'all. Boom, bam. Okay, y'all, to the next one. Are you excited?
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay, to the next one. Ciao.
It's Josh and Josh. It's our song, open to it. To listen to the full song, go to joshandjosh.bandcamp.com. Every purchase helps our spread off across the world. Okay.